I'd like to call to order the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners regular meeting for September 27, 2023. Roll call.
President Zipfel.
Here.
Vice President Rogers.
Here.
Commissioner Andrus.
Here.
Commissioner Lees.
Here.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Here.
So we have a special evening tonight with a special presentation.
Come on.
That's right. Everybody jumped at that one. That's good. We like the reflexes, by the way. That was impressive. Our Pledge of Allegiance and our presentation is a very special guest, Ben Hartenraft, who is going to give us a presentation on a number of very important issues relevant to not just our community, but community as a whole. He is the owner of Benergy, and we're going to talk a little bit more with him about that enthusiasm and energy that he has. And Ben, if you would, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to this evening.
Republic for which it stands, God, indivisible.
Ben, just give me a minute or two. We have a couple of, you're good. We have to do a couple of housekeeping items, and then we'll jump right in. So very quickly, is there a motion for approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Rogers, second by Commissioner Andrus. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Consent items. Is there a motion to move the consent items listed in the agenda into the record?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Lees.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Zimmerman. Those items include the Board of Commissioners regular meeting minutes of August 23, the Treasurer's report for the month of September, the bills payable, or paid bills, in the amount of $3,338.58, and unpaid bills in the amount of $883,161.40. That I'll call the question. All in favor of moving those into the record, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved, and those are moved into the record. Citizens' comments. Any citizens' comments on agenda items? Right, then we are going to get to our special item of the evening. Ben, I gave a very brief introduction of you just a moment ago, but let me give you everybody a little bit more. Ben is, he's the owner of a business. He's in his early 20s, I think, right? 25, that's early. Trust me, when you're my age, that's early. He is going to give us a presentation tonight about autism awareness, kindness, and inclusion. He has been on national television. I just learned, and maybe I'm stealing your thunder, that the White House has reached out to him to be a participant down in Washington, D.C. with regard to the Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA. And I can best describe Ben not only as a fantastic young man, but I'm going to steal a great descriptive term from John Coffey, one of our great residents here who's with us this evening. And Ben is enthusiastic, and we are thrilled to have him. Ben, it is your show. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Tom. That was a very great introduction. Good evening, Hatfield Board, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for letting me come out tonight. I'm very, very excited to be here. Tonight, we are talking about Ben's journey, never let go of your dreams. Look how cute I was when I was a baby, and now as a full autism advocate. Let's get into the autism statistics. When I was first diagnosed, it was 1 in 200 back in the 2000s. Now it's actually 1 in 36. Boys are 4 times more likely to have it than girls. And no two people with autism are the same. And if you meet one person with autism, you meet one person with autism, says Dr. Stephen Shore. Now, here's my story. I was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2, starting to go to school at age 2, rode the bus at age 3. At that age, a child should know 200 words, but I only knew 20. And our first angel, Miss Paul Barson, she taught me how to talk. And today I just talk. And there's no off button on me. Waited 6 months for speech therapy. Now, I have a question for all of you, including the board. Who likes to read? Good, a lot of people do. When I was in 3rd and 4th grade, the school said you're probably never going to read or write. In 4th grade, I can only copy from the board. In 4th grade, I can only read kindergarten books. But there was a special school down in Delaware County, Newtown Square area, called the Talk Institute. And Miss Nicole taught me how to read and write. There was 3 schools in the country called the Bard Association method. I went from a kindergarten to a 2nd grade reader. Today I write in cursive and I know how to read and write, which is really incredible. I'm so thankful for those teachers that actually helped me pour out and help me out who I am today. And speaking of faith, God provides me to the right person at the right time. The disability ministry at Calvary Church of Souderton provides love, acceptance, and friendship, gives me a way to serve. My faith helps me through hard times. What was hard? You know, staying safe was hard for me growing up. One time, my mom was vacuuming in the family room, and she said, Ben, I need you to stay right here. Well, I decided as a young fella to unlock the back door, ran across the backyard, and I jumped on my neighbor's trampoline. My mom got a call, your son's on my trampoline. She was shocked. She dropped the phone, ran across the backyard like Forrest Gump, and that day we had a hard time communicating what I was trying to express to her and what she was trying to express to me. Reading and math. You know, my mom is very good at reading, and my dad is very good at math. Not only do I have autism, but I also have a learning disability, and those two subjects were really hard for me. Making friends. We all want to make a friend someday, right, everybody? Yep. So growing up, I had a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese and the one in Montgomeryville before it closed, and I was 7 years old. Everybody came to my party, but nobody invited me back to their parties, and it was really, really sad. Stuck on thoughts. So I have a friend named Noah Ziegler, and me and Noah, we love watching movies together and roller coasters together. We love riding roller coasters together, but there's one TV show that we love watching is SpongeBob. Who likes SpongeBob? Anybody? Yeah, I see a couple of hands out there. So there's an episode in SpongeBob when Santa comes to the Bikini Bottom and he does this. It's a reoccurring behavior that me and Noah have. Just like me and Noah, we love doing that reoccurring behavior. We call each other on purpose, for real, and we go, whoop, 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 whoop. Or sometimes if we're sad, we go, whoop, 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 whoop. But it's really funny. In my opinion, if you ever see anybody with autism or anybody with disabilities, Down syndrome, anybody in a wheelchair, anybody doing that reoccurring behavior, they're going through some kind of process that they need to take an extra second to take a break. Because sometimes they're going through that to help them diffuse themselves. That's how they feel happy. That's how they love doing recurring behaviors. Concrete versus non-concrete, heart versus love. When we talk about these two definitions, this is what we talk about. This mic is real. These hands are real. We talk about non-concrete. We talk about emotions like love, inclusion, kindness, acceptance. It was very hard for me with autism to understand those emotions. Now, be the one. Do you know what be the one is? Well, those of you who don't know what be the one is, let me explain. It talks about one kind person can change the world and how kindness starts with you. Here's some examples how Hatfield Township and anybody across Pennsylvania can be the one. Write a kind note to somebody. Police officers, Hatfield police officers, you guys could be kind by writing a kind note. The board, you guys can be kind to somebody if you write to somebody a kind note. That's how you can be kind. Help each other in your community. For example, if somebody's having a bad day, talk to them. You're here to help each other. That's what a community's for. Invite another person you don't know with to dinner or lunch. You know, when we go to PJ Rohan's tonight. I'm just kidding. It was inviting other people you don't know with. Make somebody feel special. Volunteer in your community. You know, I met these people at Manor on Main Street, and it really meant a lot to me. When volunteering really helped me who I am today. And if it wasn't for Manor and Mitzvah, I would not be who I am today. Hold the door for someone, you know? Be kind to somebody and hold the door. And make a new friend. What did I achieve? I'm an autism advocate. I won Homecoming King. I work, have my driver's license, and dreams. Some dreams do come true, but some dreams don't even come true. And we could talk about more of that into the presentation. So it was my senior year, and I said to my mom and dad, Mom, Dad, I'm going to run for Homecoming King. Well, then, I don't know if it's going to happen. And, of course, they announced the first runner-up, the second runner-up, and then they said, Mr. Ben Hartranft. I got so excited, I ditched my date and ran across the field. And it was amazing. You can watch it. It was incredible. If you, what the, I hear music.
Fine.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I thought it was my phone. I apologize. Okay. You can watch that video on benergy1.com. The power of inclusion. You know, I love what people are doing today, and I hope more and more townships get more involved in more inclusion efforts. So in high school, I got to be involved with I got to be involved in graduation. I even participated in some of the sports games. Oh, come on in. I even participated in the men's choir. You know, I didn't get the lead solo in the men's choir, but I still felt included. I even participated in the play. You know, I didn't get the lead in the play, but I still felt included. You cannot have a successful men's choir with just one person. You cannot have a successful play with just one person. You cannot have a successful team or in your township with just one person. You need to have a whole community and a village to work together. Events and plans. It wasn't like my senior year. One day I walked into my mom's office and I said, Mom, I really want to have a big party. Remember we talked about earlier the Chuck E. Cheese party? I want to invite all my friends from work, school. And my mom said, well, Ben, I don't know if it's going to happen. Please, Mom, can I? Well, okay. Yes. So I got the video games ready to go. I got the snacks. I got the half Diet Coke, half lemonade. I call it the Benergy Special. And I heard this knock. It's Billy Snow. Oh, my gosh. Billy Snow showed up. 15 minutes went by. We hung out, played some games. 30 minutes went by. We ate some pizza, some snacks. An hour went by. 2 hours went by. You know what else happened? Nobody else showed up, and it was just me and Billy Snow. But I was very happy that night. He was that one kind person that came that day to come to my party. And if somebody says, hey, I want to invite you somewhere, take that opportunity. Because that one kind person can change the world. And that Billy Snow was that example. He didn't have to show up that night, but he came because he wanted to show up to my party. And that was one kind person can change the world. And that's when Billy Snow showed up. And I was very grateful for that. And you could be that one kind person too. I work for the Eagles. Who likes the Eagles? Woo! I was so happy they won against Tampa Bay Monday night. But I'm going to be working at the game this Sunday. I do fan ambassador. I walk around and make guests happy. And if you ever want to say hi to me, I give out cookie cutters and surprises. But this is the real reason why I'm here. My ultimate dream job is I do public speaking full time. I give a presentation to my family why I wanted to do it. My mom and dad and brother Dan were pretending they were America's Got Talent judges. And they all said, well, Ben, I don't know if it's going to happen. And they all said yes. And we started Benergy One presentations. I come into schools, companies, businesses, organizations. Hey, if you know anybody at a township meeting or a superintendent or a school, company, or business to talk about autism awareness, inclusion, and kindness, if you have any friends, refer to them to benergy1.com. But I just want to thank, we're not even done yet, I want to thank my friend Tom and the Hatfield Township for letting me fulfill my dream. Let's give them a big round of applause. Oh, I got to make sure I give Aaron a big round of applause, too. I got you. I'm sorry. That was my fault. Sometimes dreams don't even come true. My favorite movie, 1776. It was about the Declaration of Independence. North Penn High School put it on. However, I didn't get any part in the play. You can't always get what you want. Let it go. Let it go. Now, Ellen was my first big Benergy dream. So I really wanted to get on the Ellen show and talk about autism and inclusion and kindness. What do you think my mom said?
Oh, Ben.
She did. She was like, well, Ben, I don't know. And one day they called and they said, is this Ben? I said, is this the Ellen show? And it was one of the producers. I had to keep a secret for 6 weeks. A couple weeks later, they said, we want you out here next week. They flew me and my dad out. My mom couldn't go because of knee surgery. And I'm in the green room, and they totally surprised me. And I got to meet Ellen DeGeneres. It was the most magical day ever. You can see that video on my website if you have an opportunity. Ellen gave me Universal tickets. She gave me game day tickets to the Eagles and a helmet signed by the 2018 Super Bowl team. And Shutterfly gave me $10,000 for the Eagles Autism Challenge.
Hey, nice.
Eagles Autism Challenge was started by Jeff Lurie. His brother has autism. They want to take awareness to action. The event is May 18th, and I raised over $100,000 since the EAC first started. And if you remember we talked about earlier, if you know any schools, companies, or businesses, or township meetings, the best way to support us is by telling a friend or telling somebody, hey, I know this person. You would have to get this person in if you know him. Oh, my gosh, I would love to do that. We're also going to be here. I'm going to be here afterwards talking to people, asking questions. We also have cards. So I have a business card. All of you get a business card tonight. So I'll make sure I hand them out at the end. And then my mom wrote a book called Swinging from the Chandelier, Finding Joy in a Journey Through Autism. I was 3 years old. I was stimming on the lights on the chandelier, and my mom said, oh boy, if I ever write a book, that's the name of my title. It's a great read. For example, a great read for a stocking stuffer for Christmas, a great read for the holidays, or an Easter basket. Buy today, right out here, or if you don't want to buy it, you can always buy it on my website as well. So I have copies with me today as well. The Price is Right. You know, I've always wanted to do a trip, and every year I say, Mom, I want to go to LA, I want to go to California, I want to go to Texas, I want to go to San Diego, or I want to go to a private island. That would never happen. Well, one day my brother said, I'll tell you what, if you plan out your own trip, I'll let you go by yourself. I said, okay. So I budgeted my trip. I booked my own hotel, my own flight. And a week before, I got into a car accident with my old car. And the insurance said we have to total it, and they gave me a check. But then when I was out there, I really wanted to get on a game show called The Price is Right. I was in the audience. They called my name. I got up on stage, and I won $16,000 on The Price is Right. You can watch that on Benergy1.com. It was pretty incredible. And I bought a brand new car, and it was just an incredible feeling. Having autism is not a bad thing. It doesn't characterize who we are. Everybody is unique and special, just like a rainbow. One tree can start a forest, and one light can push back darkness, and one kind person can change the world. Let's go be the one, Hatfield Township. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Aaron. You guys are amazing.
That was fantastic, man.
Thank you.
Stay there, we're gonna take some pictures with you.
Yes, absolutely.
AB, you should get in this one.
The video is great to watch. Price is Right. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
How'd I do? Hatfield's the best. Go on. I got 2-1 on my phone. Hold on. I love it. Go be the one.
Sure can. Take as much as you want, Ben.
Go ahead. Most nights, this is our dinner.
Cousin actually won.
Not bad.
Go.
Good job, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Good job,
Thank you,
Thank you, Ben. Great job, buddy.
See you later.
Lost Bob for a second.
I'm trying to get out a ticket.
Riley is George Landis's niece?
Yes, these
Who is? Is
Riley, or
that right?
young female officers related.
I didn't know that. All right, well, the rest of this meeting, let's be blunt, is going to be remarkably boring. But I guess the silver lining is it's not going to be long. So we have a couple of action items, and then as everybody heard, we're joining Ben over at one of the restaurants nearby. So There's 4 action items. Let's jump right into them. Is there a motion for approval of the Stewart Basin invoice for $106,200?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Rogers, second by Commissioner Andrus. Aaron, if you want to just maybe walk us through each of these.
Thanks, Mr. President. The project continues on. This is the latest invoice. We're almost coming to a conclusion. Wanted to thank Vice President Rogers for his leadership on this project. He's been out there many times, more than I have been, and we're getting close to the end and talking about this basin so we're going to wrap it up in the next few weeks, and but we'll probably see another invoice coming your way, commissioners, next month, and then that should wrap it up.
All right, any questions or comments?
Yeah, just one comment. Basins are always a hot topic in this township. That's the one thing that I've learned over the years. And trying to get everybody on board and everybody on the same page and happy, it's very difficult. I'd like to thank the staff here for their hard work in making sure that everything was done right, that everybody's happy with the end results. I was over there tonight. Looks fantastic. It's between the contractor being so cooperative and our staff really being out there pushing what the residents really need and desire, the whole project really looks great. So.
Great. All right, with that, I'll call the question. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Action item number 2, is there a motion for approval with regard to the Calmer Firehouse repairs in the amount of $43,358?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Lees,
Second.
second by Vice President Rogers. Aaron, I know this is something we talked about before. Not much to discuss
I
other
can
than
add
that.
just briefly, Mr. President, like you said, this has been a project that has been going on for a few months. I think maybe, again, like the basin, one more invoice might be coming our way. This was some repairs that were needed at the Calmer Firehouse. Electrical work. This was specifically for a generator to make sure the facility seven. Just some needed and some repairs that were long overdue that are finally happening over at the firehouse.
All right. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Action item number 3, Resolution 23-13. Is there a motion for approval with regard to the pension obligations for 2024? Motion by Commissioner Andrus.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Zimmerman. Aaron, I think you've got the next 2, right? Oh, no, you have this one, and then
Sure, I think we're
Mr.
gonna make-
Solicitor
yes,
has the
sir.
4th. Yeah.
Correct. Commissioner Andrus did a great job at the workshop laying out our obligations for 2024 for our pension. The good news was that the increases was small for 24, just about 5%. Pensions are one of our largest expenses. Obviously, it's part of our package for our employees who certainly deserve it and earn it. Obligation that we have, that it takes up a significant portion of the budget. Lucky that in 24, it was only increasing 5%, and we'll see where it goes from there. We're just going to take it one year at a time, but Commissioner Andrus did a nice job of summarizing those obligations that we have.
Great, thank you very much. All right, with that, I'll call the question. All in favor of Resolution 23-13, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Last action item. Is there a motion for approval with regard to the tax appeal settlement for 1804 North Broad Street?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Lees,
Second.
second by Vice President Rogers. Mr. Solicitor, I believe you have this one.
Yes, Mr. President. This is a tax assessment appeal for 1804 property. The property owner filed an appeal back in 2021.
Oh, the amount is $334?
334 reduction, ultimately the tax.
Got it. And as I mentioned, as we go through these, sometimes these tax resolutions, which are done primarily with the school district, sometimes they end up in a reduction, and sometimes they end up in an increase.
Really, it's a question of valuation of the property, what the property is valued.
Okay, great. Thank you for that very good summary. With that, I will, unless anybody has any questions or comments, hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Okay, citizens' comments. Any citizens' comments? Like,
Hi, good evening, everybody. I live in a Hatfield 40-foot road. My home number is 938. I have a question. Since like a 2.5 year, there is a two pole outside. One is for the electricity pole, and second one, that one is like standing since like 2.5 year. And I don't know what is for that one, because a lot of time when I make a left from my house, 40-foot road, it was like I can't see any car. And one time I got accident too. So I don't know that why there is a two pole over there instead of one.
I think I know which one you're talking about, but I don't think there's anything attached to it, right? It's just a
No,
pole,
no, there
right?
is just standing over there. So I don't know why. And I also talked with John Coffey couple of times.
Yep.
So I just want to know that why there is a two pole over there.
Let us look into that. I think that's normally either, it's not electric, because that's old, that would be old school. I think it's probably maybe an old telephone pole, which would mean that we need to reach out to the provider of telephone service in that area along that line, along that easement, and find out what their plan is with that pole.
Because like before 2.5 year ago, they put like every like next house, they put like a wooden big pole, but it's nothing attach any cables or anything. And only my house they have like a two, and they have like maybe 5 feet
Yeah, they're-
distance.
they're
Yeah.
like 5
so
feet
when I
away from
make
each
a
other.
left turn, I don't see any car or anything.
Let us reach out to the utility company, and we'll find out what the scoop is, and we'll let you know.
All right. Thank you so much,
Okay,
ladies
great.
and gentlemen.
Thank
Thank you.
And thank you for coming out. All right, any other questions or comments, citizens' comments? All right, hearing none, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Lees,
Second.
second by Vice President Rogers. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing no objection, we are adjourned. Thanks for coming out, folks.